We got our new heat source. Thanks to Joey. Came and brought this thing up. We went and loaded it up in his truck, brought it up here. So that's ready to go over there. Just gonna get it cleaned up, clean it out, and refresh it. And then obviously I gotta vent it up this this window, but should be fine. I'm excited. It's a small change, but I'm excited to finally get it underway. We're almost torn down here. The only downside is this thing is freaking heavy and it's got a bunch of nails in it. I can't really move it well, but I got to get this off of here so that I can get the rest of the frame torn apart, because this frame was all kind of built as like one piece. So tearing this down goes pretty much the same way as every other tear down we've done so far. This is the last piece, and since it was the center section, this was the piece that kind of needed everything else out of the way before you could get everything out here. So pretty simple tear down, got it off the wall pretty quickly. Gonna lug this thing over there and see if I can get it at least close to the position it's gonna be in. Let's see what it looks like and how much space it's gonna take up. It's in its position. I'm gonna get the kit to run the pipe up here and obviously clean up the rest of this. Continue tearing stuff down. It looks all cattywampus because its side is kicked out too, but it's pretty much where it's gonna go. So back with this, it has been a little bit of a challenge finding the right stuff to get this thing vented. And part of that is because the only kit you can find in any regular store is this 5-piece kit, which kind of sucks and it has bad reviews, but it is all there is. It's fairly expensive. It's like 260 bucks. There's this thing, which I had to pick up, which is a 3-foot piece. This was like 50 bucks or 60, something like that. So kind of sucks. Then I found something else out. You technically need to mount these things up off the ground. And, you know, I need some blocks to do that. So gotta go find some blocks. Now we have to get this sucker ready to be mounted to our OSB window. And I think I'm gonna fill this out. I'm gonna build like a little box that make it out of this stuff right here. Should be pretty simple. I think that'll still be enough heat protection, because I mean, you figure this goes through your house anyways. So I'm gonna cut it in little sections here, make a little box that'll fit in this, kind of in the frame here. One for each side of the board. Then that box can be attached to the board. And yeah, let's take some measurements, get that started. Pretty easy process here. Just cut 4 equal sections, then pre-drill them, get a screw in there to hold it together. I just don't want them to split, obviously. And then we can just go ahead and mount that to kind of the face that we've created with that square wood, and then just do another one for the other side. Now I'm going to designate a top on these things. Let's call it a top. And I'm going to drill some holes so if any heat builds up in here, it can come out on these edges. Then I'll put a mounting bracket of some kind, like a bigger piece here, so I can screw everything together. Now we've got our vent holes in here. Like I said, I'm hoping that if any heat comes up here, it's able to escape on some venting. The idea is, with this being like this, we can take our plywood or whatever, put the windows, our OSB in the window, sandwich it like this, and that's kind of the general idea. Then we'll have this crossover happening right up there. So here's the deal. Now I got to get the stove lifted up, put on the blocks. I'm going to put the fire shield thing behind it. Well, I don't think it's a huge deal with the pellet stove, but I got to get this up there so I can get the exit in the right spot, or at least know where that's going to go. In order to do that, I got to get my jack, which is on the back side of the RX-7 and on the other side of all of this wood over here, all the way over there. Okay, you didn't get to see me struggle, but I've got this up on the jack now. I'm gonna go ahead and scooch this around until where it's at least centered on the jack, so I can get it to go up relatively equally. Got a block under one side, get a block under the other side. Now it's not looking super level. I've got some steel plate I might be able to put under that. A little bit of flat stock. See if we can get this side up more. It's also funny, it just barely touches on the corner of these blocks. Okay, we added the 1/8 inch there. Didn't quite make it, so I'm gonna lift it back up and flip that over. There we go. Not perfect, but it's pretty dang good. It doesn't visibly look weird. Okay, so I get our clean out. Put that on. It's got a cap on one side, which I dented a little bit, unfortunately. But Put the cap on there, and on this side, for the rest of our piping. Luckily, these things snap together easily enough. Just kind of push them down and twist them to lock them in. So, pretty easy to assemble from that end. Now, I was tempted to put this up a little bit higher, but I think where it is fine, honestly. I'm gonna go ahead and get my mark of where I cut my fake window. This is fairly shady to take out, not gonna lie. And you know what's gonna have to happen. That's gonna have to get out of the way. I just tried to cut out a hole that would basically be a little bit bigger than the diameter of the shielding there. You can see it was pretty close, and then mounted everything. Now, for the sake of time, the only thing left to do is to finish smashing out my window with something. 10-foot boards, maybe that'll work. Obviously, I would do something different if I didn't already have a broken window. So this works as a replacement. It was just a happy accident. Okay, you can't get this through this way, so you gotta put it through from the outside, which means I gotta get April to get on my shoulders so we can put that through. We've got it, guys. I got the vent out. It's a little shady getting that through, and then I ended up just taking this out so I could push it through anyways. Got a pipe all the way up. Everything's up on blocks. I gotta mount this still. I don't know if this is really gonna do a whole lot. I feel like it's not, but I'm gonna mount it up a little higher. And then, you know, as far as that stuff goes, we should be good to start using this. I have no idea how shady this is, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do, right? Just grabbed some scrap blocks of wood and went ahead and pre-drilled them through here just to kind of space it away from the wall. Then just put a couple screws in it. I think this will be fine. I think that's gonna catch on fire. I think it'll be okay, all right? The only other thing I could do is like put some sheathing here, some metal, but I think it's gonna be fine. So now, I'm gonna have this all hooked up. I've gotta get this thing cleaned out. There's some weird organic thing in there. I don't know what the fuck that is. Bunch of mice, dead mice maybe. It's creeping me out. Or a bird, I don't know. But I think for now, I'm gonna get that thing cleaned out. See if we can get some fire going on in here. See if we can, A, test it, make sure it works. And then B, make sure our ducting, or our vent, chimney, stovepipe, whatever you wanna call it, works. It doesn't burn the garage down. And then move on to finishing up the rest of it. But let's not worry about that for now. Let's get some fire. By the way, this is Chicoletta, and Terry. I had a hell of a time getting this thing out of here. This stuff is stuck. May have to do with that little pin right there. So I'm gonna try to twist this, get that pin out of the way. But we vacuumed everything out here. Still gotta vacuum out the burner pot or whatever you call it. And then I think I can put it back together and run it. Okay. So this sucker. Here. This thing. It's like this. I think it is time to give this a shot. Level back on here. The only thing that doesn't really function is this handle. You have to use a hammer to make it work, which is kind of funny. But once again, everything's just rusty. There. Well, holistically, I don't know what I'm doing. With the dampener here, this is a lot of air, a little air. I don't know what you start with. A lot, a little, maybe, I'll call that a quarter, something like that. Over here we have the controls, different heat settings. There's a fan, there's the auger, there's on off. I'm not really sure how all that works either, but I'm just gonna go ahead and plug this thing in and see what happens. Okay, it's plugged in. So now press on. Oh no. Okay, I spammed the on-off button and finally took it. It says making heat, I guess. There's no smoke coming out yet. It is taking a while to start. You can't see through here either, so, you know. Can't really tell. I did open it up. I got to hammer it open, but I did open it up and it was like just starting to burn some of the pellets. So I don't know, it might just take a while to get going. Okay, I gave it a little jump start with the torch. It wasn't taking, but getting some smoke out of it now. Still no heat. All right, here we go. Finally starting to get something. Ah, we have heat. Cool. So now that that's going, guys, here's the deal. We got everything we wanted with this latest garage revamp, right? I got all the shelves down. I got the workbench built. I've got the cabinets built on both corners. But the downside of that is there's still a bunch of stuff that needs to be put away. And the garage itself, really, I can't do any mechanicking right now because it's so scattered. So I'm gonna have to spend some time cleaning up the garage, get everything in some sort of, I don't know, just a place where I can hide it away or use it as needed. I need to get a little bit of space back, and then I can start working on the vehicles again. It won't take much. It's probably one round. Chris up here, me and him could probably knock it out. Just move some of the stuff upstairs. Eventually, it is going to include building the shelf rack system upstairs, and sheeting the rest of these walls. But we gotta get back to some car stuff. So that's it for now. We finally have some heat. It doesn't sound like a jet turbine engine. Turn it up. Next up, get it cleaned up, get back on the builds.